You're not ready. You just simply aren't, fellas. You need to stop thinking that suddenly accomplishing this goal of having a woman by your side is gonna make you feel better. It's not. Because you're not ready. You need to take steps toward being that man. And here's tip number one. And I personally struggled with this one a ton in my past life. I can't emphasize enough how much debt will come back to you. It'll corrupt you. It'll make you constantly think of it. You're constantly thinking of how you could be making an income and how you can get by just enough. But at the same time, as you're penny pinching for all these dollars to maybe get by, you're not actually spending any time with your woman. You can't, because you're so obsessed with making enough. Constantly have the thought of, well, one day if I pay these things off, suddenly I'll feel a ton better. So then avoid it. Don't look for anybody. It's gonna take not only more finances to cherish her, buy her things, make her feel appreciated, but it's gonna take a lot of your time, because at the end of the day, they're going to want your attention. You're going to need to be there for them. If they're needing to rant, your ass best be ready. You better be open ears and not considering what you could be doing to make money to get by. This is the most painful phase in my life. You see, about a year and a half ago, I had started my own business running dogs, right? And you think, oh, like that's an interesting business model. Yeah, like, look, I had the skill of running and I had the skill of communication. I learned through books how to communicate, articulate, have charisma, essentially sell myself, right? So for someone to really trust you with their dog, I mean, you have to know what you're talking about. You have to come across as trustworthy. So I took the leap. I made my own business. I started running dogs. I could run up to 20 miles a day, so I said, why not? Let me charge $15 a mile. Some dogs would run 3 miles. I'd make $45 in the span of 30 minutes at most. That's more than most of y'all are probably making, right? So think about owners that had 2-3 dogs running 2-3 miles at the same time. It was a good sense of income. Now, the issue here was I was piling on a lot of debt at this time, because had taken a vacation in New York. That was about $5,000-$6,000. I put that on my credit card. In my mind, I thought, well, I mean, I'm making a good living. I'll pay it off eventually. Suddenly I started buying other things. I started craving materialistic things. Why? Because I've never had this in my life. I've never been able to just buy things when I wanted to buy them. And because I was making a good income, I thought, well, why not? Like, let me just treat myself a little bit, right? Stupid. That stuff did not fulfill me for 3 days. Maybe 2 days, I was like, wow, this is really cool. The third day, I put it aside. I never thought of it. I bought a $2,000 couch, and I've probably sat on that couch 3 or 4 times. So I was stupid with my money. I was actually making more, and I could have easily invested it back into my dog running business. I could have maybe hired somebody. I could have maybe started using ads, paying for ads, really working on a social media, paying for someone to manage that. There was many ways I could have spent this money. Instead, I kept piling it on my credit card. And next thing you know, winter comes along, business isn't as good. Suddenly I'm making less. And not only that, but suddenly I start losing my passion in it. Suddenly I don't really enjoy it. I'm waking up miserable, beat, taxed. I mean, I'm running a ton, right? So my body catches up to me. I have to eat a ton of calories throughout the day. And not only that, trying to fit the calories in my day when I'm constantly running all the time, my digestion was fucked all the time. I just couldn't eat and have time to digest. I was constantly on call, constantly going home to home, or meeting people at a park, running them joint. It was a nightmare. I ended up with about $20,000 in debt. I got out of the business, I liquefied it, I closed it down, and I moved on. I thought, well, shit, I need to find another way to make money, because suddenly now, for $20,000, I mean, I was paying about $1,000 a month minimum. Let that register real quick. I started making income. I spent it stupidly. And now, after the whole fact, I don't actually enjoy anything that I bought. I didn't end up enjoying my business enough to pursue it. And now I have makeup work to do. I have an extra $1,000 I need to worry about making. And at the time I was with my girl, and at the time I had just committed to a more expensive rent because I thought, well, like I have it going, so I may as well. The year after that was miserable. I was penny pinching. I was trying to figure out what my next business model would be, how I was going to make my income, and what I was going to do to get out of this damn hole. That brought a lot of pain to her. I slowly stopped interacting with her as much. I slowly stopped being present to a very large extent. I wasn't really hearing her out. I was just so stressed about getting us by. Her birthday, I didn't even really spoil her. Like I was so fearful of how much I could really spend on her. So put all your time and money into your financial freedom. Get rid of all debt before you consider anything. Trust me, it will rot your brain. It will corrupt it. Like, it is all you can think about when you have debt. The second reason you're not ready for a girlfriend is you're an anxious person. You're coming across as clingy. You don't have your own life going on with set goals, direction. You just don't have value. You just keep craving attention from your woman to feel loved, to feel appreciated for who you are. But in reality, I mean, you don't even appreciate yourself. You're not doing anything with your time. So you just hold on to this woman and think, please stay with me. Like I'm amazing. Shut up, man. Go work on yourself. Stop being so clingy. And the third one is quite the opposite. You're in hyper independence mode. You're super ambitious and extreme about your goals. You're extremely black and white. I tend to be under this from all the time. I find myself suddenly getting comfortable and suddenly bring myself back to center and thinking, wow, I need to get my shit together. I need to keep hustling. I need to get somewhere. I need to be somewhere. I have goals in mind. I need to accomplish them. And when you're in this constant state of growth and constantly wanting to fulfill your new fitness goals, you want to get a six-pack, you want to cut down, you want to look chiseled in your jaw, or suddenly you want to be successful in your career, you start putting more time and effort into your career, and that takes away from time you can commit to your girl. You see, this is all more important to you than intimacy, and your woman will feel that. In a sense, she likes it. She wants you to have your own life going on. But you also need to have that time aside. You need to have the cherishment. You need to have praise for her. You need to devote a little bit of time to her. You can't just come across cold and just be constantly working, come home and not even appreciate the time with her. You come home, you're kind of like, oh, long day at work. Not tonight, honey. I just need to get some rest. You have a couple beers and you knock out. Suddenly she thinks, okay, my man is getting somewhere, but not really with me. I'm not appreciated. Like, I'm getting all these things cleaned in the house, and yeah, you're providing for me, you're helping with that, but I want your attention to an extent, right? She'll still need intimacy. So if you are personally growing at a rapid rate and you don't find the time, you need to stay on your path, keep growing. Don't put on the responsibility of needing to retain the attention of a woman if you can't handle it. And the fourth one is you're simply a boy. Now notice, I'm not referring to too young, your age here, because a man's maturity, it can vary. I will say I've always been perceived as a more mature man from a younger age simply because of certain obstacles I had to overcome in my life, certain family problems. They developed me as a person. Other people don't really have that issue. Maybe you're a little more wealthy in your family and they kind of just let you get by with anything. They kind of just let you go and have fun all the time. You're out late at night drinking, drunk driving, you wreck cars and there's no consequence to it. You don't have to work for another car. Suddenly you crash a BMW and next thing you know, you have a brand new BMW right there on the same lot. Your maturity will be stunted due to this. You're not gonna ever be independent. You're not going to personally grow. You're not going to have drive and direction. You see, because a boy, they don't have direction. They don't have purpose. They don't have set goals. They kind of just get by life. Their diet is shit. They eat garbage food. They're eating all these Twinkies and Oreos and kicking back, watching something on TV, playing video games for hours a day, 8-9 hours a day. I mean, I was at that point. I was eating garbage and I was playing video games. And what do you think was going on? I was getting no woman's attention. Nobody would turn to look my way. Why? Because they can see it. They can see how you carry yourself, how low energy you are, your brain fog, your anxiety around women. Because at your core, you know, you ain't shit. You eat like shit. You spend your time like shit. You live in this fantasy in the video game. Suddenly I'm dropping nuked outs in Call of Duty, and if you don't know, that's extremely difficult to do. It's 30 kills without dying, no score streaks that kill stuff. Anyways, you are the man in this fantasy world. As soon as you come out of it, you realize, wow, I just ate a whole bin of Oreos. I spent 11 hours and I have to be up in 4 hours for school. I'm not gonna get sleep. I didn't work out. I didn't eat well. And my brain just was filled with dopamine the entire night. And the next day, what do you know? You're not motivated in your day. You have brain fog. You're fatter. You're 1 pound fatter. And suddenly you forgot to brush your teeth because you didn't care to, because you're so bored of brushing your teeth. It's a boring task to you because it's not a video game. And you walk around like a loser. You are. Why would anyone even consider you? Anything that's comforting in your life is unacceptable. Anything that takes off your edge, where you are not in pain, you're not in discomfort, you're not hustling for something, get rid of it. It's unacceptable. Everything, all these comfort foods, all these balanced lifestyles. Oh, maybe just 1-2 hours of video games. A little bit, let me just watch this Super Bowl. That's what, 4 hours long? All these things that make you feel comfortable, relaxed, it takes away from you. It takes away your time, and it distracts you. Filling yourself with dopamine, and suddenly everything else doesn't feel as pleasant. At your core, your career should be the most fulfilling, along with your diet and your workouts. You should almost live in pain all the time if you want to be progressing. You have to be a machine. You can't feel lost, and you can't be living your day-to-day life with minimal effort. Days will keep flying by, y'all. Trust me when I say it. So just quit telling yourself one day things will be different without at least committing 1 hour a day to make that difference. Because that 1 hour is really all it takes, y'all. 1 hour of working out. 1 hour of contemplating between good and bad food, making the right decision. 1 hour of working on your career. Deep, deep work. If you want to become a video editor, commit 1 hour. Learning, practicing, reaching out every morning. Suddenly you'll be making more than everyone around you. 1 hour, fellas. See ya.